Welcome to our complete JavaScript introductory course, JavaScript, Making the Web Dynamic and Interactive. So what is JavaScript? JavaScript is a high-level dynamic, untyped, and interpreted programming language. My name is Lawrence, and I'm going to be your instructor for this course. I've been a web developer for over 15 years, working on hundreds of real-world projects. I enjoy developing code from scratch and the freedom of being able to bring things to life online. I'm ready to help you learn more about JavaScript. I created this course to introduce students to JavaScript and help you learn how to use it. Learning to code opens so many doors. HTML, CSS, and JavaScript are the cornerstones to the web. Learning how to work with JavaScript will give you the skills you need to create amazing things within your websites. Within this course, we're going to be covering how to add JavaScript, link to external JavaScript files, placing JavaScript within your web page, looking at JavaScript syntax, comments in JavaScript, what semicolons and white space, and how to use all of that stuff. We're also going to be looking at alerts, console dialog boxes, and a whole lot more within web dev tools. Also covering off different data types. So these are the fundamental core concepts of JavaScript: strings, numbers, and Boolean variables. We're also going to look at how we can store values in variables and how variables can work as containers to hold information and what you need to look out for when you're naming them. We're also going to look at more dynamic variables such as arrays and objects and how they work within JavaScript. When it comes to arrays, there's a lot of built-in functionality. So we're going to be looking at all of that built-in functionality within arrays: joining, pushing, sorting, and a whole lot more. Then comes functions, why you need them, different types of functions, how functions work, variable scope, global and local, how we pass arguments, and how we return values. And when it comes to DOM, Document Object Model, it really brings your web content to life. It allows you to create dynamic and interactive content. We're going to look at what the DOM is, how the DOM relates to HTML elements, and how we can access any HTML element and manipulate it within JavaScript and make it do something different, look different, and make it interactive. We're also going to be looking at ways that we can select all these different elements via classes, IDs, and also how we can output JavaScript to our HTML via our document object model. So writing into our HTML code via JavaScript, creating HTML elements from scratch. Then it comes to forms and the DOM. So dynamic form content into JavaScript, form interaction, and also looking at JavaScript operators. So how arithmetic works, short arithmetic, comparison operators, logical operators. Now there's a whole lot of operators, and we're going to be going through all the different types of operators, because when it comes to conditions, understanding how operators work is going to be important. Now conditions add even more functionality into your JavaScript, allowing you to create conditional statements, else statements, else if statements, case switch, and a whole lot more. And this gives you the ability to apply some logic into your coding. And then we're going to look back at the DOM, because the DOM really does provide some amazing functionality and interaction for your web visitors. It allows us to add event listeners, on-click, mouse movement. We're also going to be looking at loops, for loops, while loops, for in loops, looping. And then we're going to look at JavaScript as a whole, looking at a lot of different built-in functionality that's already pre-built within JavaScript. We're going to also be debugging our JavaScript, and we're also going to look at using local variables and which ones to avoid if possible, declaring variables at the top that we're trying to avoid. And then finally, we're going to look at pulling in data via JSON and pulling in that data using Ajax, so getting JSON data, loading it in as an object within our JavaScript, and then finally being able to use it and manipulate it and use it within our JavaScript. So all of this and a whole lot more is going to be covered within this course. So when you're ready, let's begin learning how to use JavaScript.